Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a day in the life reading vlog. We are over a week into May and I have yet to complete a book. I am in the middle of several and it's time I just finish at least one. So I thought I would take you along with me as I attempt to finish a book, as well as just get done everything I need to get done today. There are some errands I need to run. I'm hoping even to stop in at my local bookstore, so we'll see if we can get to that, but the priority is finishing a book. So again, I'm hoping that this is good motivation for me to power through and complete at least one book. So let me share with you the books that I am prioritizing today. I have a children's novel and I have a young adult novel. I'm looking at them now and I'm noticing that there's a theme here. So let me show you. We are looking at two beachy summery reads. Lots of seashells on these covers, which is really beautiful. I kind of love that. So this is the children's book I'm reading. It's called The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid. So if you don't know, I was a public school librarian for about 4 years, elementary and middle school. So I love children's books. Typically I lean more towards those classic children books, but I really do enjoy reading these more recent releases. So when I found this one, I kind of just had to give it a shot. I thought about my students who would have loved a book like this, and I just wanted to see if it was as cute as the cover makes it out to be. So it is pretty cute. I am, let's see, I'm 115 pages into this book, and so far we have Peggy the Pug. She is on a little beach holiday with her family, her owners, and one of them, I believe her name is Chloe. Yeah, we have Chloe, Ruby, and Finn. Those are the children in the family. And Chloe really wants to see a mermaid on her little beach holiday. And we are a couple days into their vacation and she has yet to spot a mermaid. And Peggy the Pug wants Chloe to be happy. So she's trying to track down a mermaid and make Chloe's dream come true. So we'll see if Peggy the Pug can find Chloe a mermaid. Again, I'm 115 pages in and I think there's like 180-ish pages. Oh, I was wrong. There's 148 pages in this book. So we'll see what Peggy can do in that amount of time. I'm hoping to at least finish this one today. I think I should be able to do that, but we'll see. Only time can tell. And I'm doing a reread of The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. When I first read this series, I want to say it was like 2019. I read the 3 books in like 4 or 5 days. I loved this series so much, and ever since reading it, I've wanted to reread it. I remember speeding through it and being so entertained and engrossed by this story. I love the characters and the setting is just nostalgic and sweet. I dream of having a beach house like the beach house depicted in this book. So I am 108 pages into The Summer I Turned Pretty, and it is a very quick read. I forgot how fast, again, I powered through it when I read it a couple years ago, but I forgot how fast this book actually reads. The sentences are typically very short, blunt, straightforward, and it just reads very quickly. So I'm 108 pages in, and I think I can at least get another 100 or so pages read today. I don't know if that's ambitious. I do have a lot of other things I have to get done today. That might be ambitious, but again, we will see what I can read today in The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid and The Summer I Turned Pretty. So I hope that you will join me. I am off to Trader Joe's right now to grab a few things, and then I'm thinking I'll come back and read a chunk before I go back out and run some other errands. A very boring but essential Trader Joe's haul. 2 milks because we ran out this morning, but the second one because I am making homemade yogurt. It's been about a month since I've made homemade yogurt and we are running low, so I'm going to need to prep that, and that'll basically cook and prep all day long. So I'm going to do that, probably put an audiobook on in the background. I'm listening to Anne of Green Gables, I want to say 5th one at this point, and get the yogurt on the stove and going. I have to wait about 30 to 40 minutes now for the milk to cool and get to lukewarm temperature. So I thought that while I'm waiting for the milk to cool, I will read. So I think I'm gonna go with The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid because I should be able to finish the book in that 30 to 40 minutes. The end. That's cute. Look at this illustration. That's the illustration that they put at the end of this book. That's precious. That's Peggy the Pug attempting to dress up as a mermaid. That was a scene in the book, and it was very cute. The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid was a enjoyable, cute read. I mean, it's what you would expect a book like this to be. The back of the book says ages 7 to 10, and I agree with that. It might be a little too young for 10, but again, it's preference. Like, I'm way older than 10. I read it and I thought it was cute, so who cares how old you are when you are reading children's books? I think that children's books are for adults, young adults, whatever, whoever. They are always wonderful and fun. If you have a little in your life who loves dogs or mermaids, they would absolutely love this book. And it seems to be a series, so that's fun. If they enjoy The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid, they can also read The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Unicorn, a Reindeer, or a Bunny. So for all those seasons and all those occasions. That is The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid by Bella Swift. I have about 10 more minutes to wait for the yogurt, the milk, to come to lukewarm temperature, so I'm going to read a couple pages of The Summer I Turned Pretty and then get back to prepping the yogurt. Okay, listen to this paragraph. Belly is going to her first ever bonfire. When we got there, I saw that I had chosen wrong. The other girls were wearing sundresses and little skirts and Uggs. If I had girlfriends at Cousins, I might have known that. You didn't tell me that girls got dressed up, I hissed at Jeremiah. I love it. I mean, that is dressing up. When was this book written? It was written in, it was published in 2009. 100%, a dress or a skirt with Uggs was, in fact, dressing up. I am going to be heading to the bookstore. There are a few books I am looking for today. So I want the Inheritance Games books. I've read the first one. I have the second one checked out from the library, but I'm thinking I want to own the series. So I'm going to hunt for any of those books at the bookstore. I am always looking for copies of Anne of Green Gables, anything in that series. So maybe I'll find a book in Anne of Green Gables today. And also The Blue Castle, also by Ellen Montgomery. I listened to that audiobook back in February and it was fantastic. I loved the humor. The humor was spot on in The Blue Castle. So I would enjoy a physical copy of that so I can read it and annotate that as well. There are a few others. I'm also looking for Emily Henry, Christina Lauren, and I feel like there are other books I'm looking for and now I'm drawing a blank. Divine Rivals. I believe it's called Divine Rivals. I typically don't pick up books like Divine Rivals, but I've heard so many great things about it, so I am intrigued. I've had a library hold on that book for well over a month and I've heard nothing, so perhaps it's time I just buy a copy. I am heading to a used bookstore, so it's going to be a complete surprise at what I can find and get there, but those are some of the books that I'll be looking for. I also want to make a stop at the thrift store. I'm looking for pots with the drainage on the bottom because there are a few plants that I would like to repot. One specifically being mint. I have some fresh mint from the garden at home and I want to get that into some soil so it can grow and I can enjoy it. So bookstore and thrift store are on the list and I'm excited. Two of my favorite places, and I really hope that I can score something today. It's always a surprise when you go to a used bookstore and a thrift store. So fingers crossed I find something I am looking for. hours later. My yogurt has been sitting and setting, and I just took it out of the oven, so let's see how it looks. It does require a few more steps after this, but to me this is the most satisfying part, to see how that complete liquid has turned into a nice solid yogurt, a nice creamy solid yogurt. So this is beautiful. So there is going to be a little liquid on top, but that is the yogurt. I am going to put this in a strainer with cheesecloth so that it can strain overnight, and then tomorrow morning I am going to have nice fresh homemade yogurt. Once I get this in the fridge, I'm going to read for a little while before getting ready for bed. So I don't know if I will complete those 100 pages of The Summer I Turned Pretty tonight. Last time I read, I think I got to about page 115-ish. That was this morning. So the goal now is to at least get to page 200. Again, I don't know if that's overly ambitious, but you know what? Whatever I read, I'll be happy with, and I think that I can do it, but I'm not trying to set myself up for failure. So if I get to 100, if I get 100 pages, awesome. If I get to page 200, also great. If I only read 30 minutes and fall asleep, it is what it is, right? Just as long as we're reading a little bit, that's what matters. Alrighty, I am going to read for about 30 minutes. I am on page 114. We will see what I can get read in about 30 minutes before I get ready for bed. I definitely enjoyed this book more the first time around. Doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it now. I'm officially halfway through, a little more than halfway through. It's cute, but I don't feel as invested or as immersed in Belly's situation in her life or anything like that. I feel like Conrad is giving me whiplash, which I do somewhat remember from the first read. I get that in the first book he's supposed to be all moody and mysterious, but it's exhausting and just really hard to keep up with his emotional mood swings. It very much is an emotional roller coaster, and I kind of feel bad for Belly because how confusing for her. She's liked him her entire life, and this summer he is so rude, unpredictable, and moody. So I'm not picking Team Conrad or Jeremiah, but Jeremiah is at least more consistent and predictable and sweet and kind, whereas Conrad is none of those things. But hey, to each his own. I am going to put my bookmark there for now. I got to page 142, so I don't know, 34, 35-ish pages of The Summer I Turned Pretty, and then earlier today I finished the Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid. That was a total of 33 pages. I'm not done reading for the night, but I just wanted to put those numbers out there now just in case I don't check in later. But before I wrap this little segment up, I do want to show you that I bought 2 books at the used bookstore earlier today. So I was looking for a few, like I mentioned, Christina Lauren books, Emily Henry, some of Anne of Green Gables, Inheritance Games, and a couple others I believe I mentioned. And I did luck out and I got this perfect copy of The Final Gambit. Winner, riddles upon riddles, secrets upon secrets, winner takes all. So it is an Inheritance Games novel. I'm not even sure what number. This is such a pet peeve of mine when they don't put the numbers on the spine. This drives me mad. When I was in my library, as a librarian, and there weren't numbers on the spines, and kids would ask me the number of the book, if I wasn't all that familiar with that series or I didn't read that series yet, it would just totally throw me off and I would have to look it up, and it's just a nuisance. It's a nuisance. So please, publishers, put the number on the spine. It would do us a big favor. So I don't know. All that is to say, I don't know what number this is. I don't know. I want to say maybe it's book 3. They don't even tell me on the title page. That is obnoxious. Whatever. It's in the Inheritance Games series. So I'm happy to own a copy of this now. Again, it's in absolutely perfect condition. I prefer paperbacks, but buying a used book at a really reasonable price, I can't complain. I have a copy of my own now, and that is awesome. So I got The Final Gambit, and I also picked up The Story of a New Name. This is book 2 in the Neapolitan novels. Oh, look at that. It says book 2 on the cover. That's a big help. I appreciate that. I have not read the first book yet. Why am I drawing a blank on the name? My Brilliant Friend. I have not read My Brilliant Friend yet. I have had a copy for 5, maybe 6 years now, and every summer it stares me down. It's on my bookshelf, it stares me down, it calls my name, and I have yet to open the book and read it. I don't know why. I think I'm a little intimidated, which is ridiculous because it's a book I've been wanting to read. I've been wanting to get more into Italian literature, so I don't know why I'm procrastinating and stalling when I have a book on my shelf. So I bought the second one, hoping that this is the little boost and encouragement I need to pick up the first in this series. I have heard absolutely wonderful things about this series, and I believe it's now a TV show or a movie on like Hulu or something, so that should also be a bit of motivation to read this series because it would be fun to have a new show to watch. That is The Story of a New Name by Elena, I believe you pronounce her first name, Elena Ferrante. So I am very happy with my purchases today. Add that to the massive stack of books I need to read. But I think that's just the life of a reader. We just keep on bringing in books because we like to be surrounded by them. So happy to have those here with me, and glad to have read 33 pages of this one and around 35 of this one today, and I do plan on reading a little more of this tonight, so hopefully I will check in with you then, but if I don't, have a good night. So it is a few days later, and I just wanted to close out this video with the grand total of pages I read. So not as much as I hoped for, but I have to be realistic. I was doing a lot of other things that day, so it's just the reality of day-to-day life, but I am happy with the reading that I did. So to review, I did complete the Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid. I read 33 pages in this book to finish it, and it was really cute. I just love a story about a pet who wants to please its owners. I think it's probably one of the most pure and endearing topics in a book, especially for children. Animal fiction is a wonderful genre for elementary school aged kids and middle school as well. I just think about books like Because of Winn-Dixie, The One and Only Ivan, and so many others. So I do again recommend animal fiction if you have elementary school aged kids in your life, or middle school aged kids. There are a lot of wonderful books out there, and I'm happy that I found this little book. And I'm happy to know that it's also a series, and I can recommend it to elementary school aged kids. So 33 pages in The Pug Who Wanted to Be a Mermaid, and I also continued on with The Summer I Turned Pretty. I was able to read 59 pages in this book. So overall, I read about 92 pages during this day. So again, good. I know that I was hoping for like 100 pages of this book, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it where I can get it. 92 pages overall is awesome. I got to page 167. And I am enjoying this reread, but this time around I don't know if it's because I'm a little older or because I'm familiar with the story, but I am not as in love with it. I'm still enjoying it, but I feel like this time I'm noticing some things that I don't necessarily like all that much. I still am going to read this series and I'm enjoying the reread overall, but I'm feeling like Conrad is way worse than I remembered him, and the mom, Belly's mom, she's very harsh. I remember her being a little tough on Belly, but I don't remember her treating Belly the way she is treating her. I don't know if harsh is the right word, because it's not like she's cruel or abusive in any way. She's just really tough on Belly, but I guess it also makes sense. She's the mom of a teenage girl. She probably has to be somewhat tough on her to, you know, keep her in line. But Susanna, Jeremiah, and Conrad's mom is definitely more of that loving mother figure to Belly, and she's probably a favorite character of mine in this series. I do like reading her parts. She is fun-loving and so kind and soft and tender, so I'm liking Susanna's character in the book, but I'm also noticing that this is told through Belly's point of view, and it is for a younger audience, but I feel like it's very like bird's eye view. So even though we're getting the story through Belly's focal point, I just feel like it's really detached. I feel as the reader, I'm very detached from the story, and I'm getting this just general idea of what's going on. I don't know if that's because of the targeted audience and the age of that targeted audience, or if it's just a stylistic thing of Jenny Han's. I think I just want more of a showing, not telling type of story. But again, this is just a preference of mine, and I still am liking the book. But for a book that takes place during the summer, in this dream beach house with these people that Belly loves so much, I feel like if we were able to visualize and see the scenes more, it would make it even more immersive and enjoyable. So those are my thoughts for just now. It is Saturday, and I plan on finishing The Summer I Turned Pretty today, so make sure you watch some of my upcoming videos to see what other books I'm reading in May and to hear my final thoughts on my reread of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So thank you so much for watching my day in the life reading vlog. I had a lot of fun filming it, and I think I'll probably try my hand at another day in the life video, maybe a week in the life. We will see. Let me know in the comments if you've read The Summer I Turned Pretty or if you plan on reading it. I do know that season 3 of the show is coming out soon, so that is definitely motivation for me to power through my reread of the whole entire series. So that is that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.